Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we're gonna talk about the fastest growing countries in Europe by gross domestic product. In the world of today, choosing a country to establish a business, look for a job, or even go for a walk can be a difficult decision. The global economy is definitely not in the best moment during the past decade. But if you have to choose a place to start a new venture, a good suggestion would be a country where the economy is growing. In this video, which is probably the most important video among the previous 3 videos you have watched today on YouTube, we're going to talk about the fastest growing countries in Europe in GDP terms. GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product, which is basically everything that has been produced in the country in terms of services or goods. So you bought a fizzy drink from a restaurant, the service, the drink, the amount goes to the GDP. Bought new jewelry for your pet, goes to the GDP. Took a ride-sharing app and spilled that fizzy drink you bought before in the car, the gas, the fare ride, the app commission, the cleaning fee, everything goes to the total GDP. So the higher the amount the GDP is growing, the better the country's economy is performing. The better the country's economy is performing, the higher are the chances of you going there and growing your personal wealth as well. For this video, I took the 2019 growth figures, because as you probably have heard, 2020 was not the best year in terms of economic growth in Europe and beyond. So I could not say that they were growing fast in 2020 when they were not growing at all. And before I start the usual talk, if you want to travel, move or invest abroad, hit the like button, check our other videos, book a consultation call with me, the link is in the description. Let's plan your immigration strategy together. And most importantly, subscribe! Let's start. We will start our list today with Romania, which grew 4.1% in 2019. Romania has been among the fastest growing countries in the European Union for some 5 years in a row. The fact that it is still one of the countries in the EU with the lowest income rates makes it easier for Romania to grow at a higher rate than its peers. A number of important European conglomerates have operations in Romania. The country is currently the largest electronics producer in Central and Eastern Europe. I believe Romania might grow even further in this sector, as production costs in China are quite high at the moment, and it makes less financial sense for European companies to have their production in China to reduce their costs as it did 20 years ago. Romania is also pretty strong in IT. Romanian developers are often ranked among the best in the world, including Romanian hackers. If you want to move to Romania as a non-EU citizen, the easiest path is by opening a company. You will still need to have your business plan approved by the authorities, but it is not extremely difficult to get this permit in Romania. The next country is often here on the channel, which is Serbia. Serbia's GDP grew at a rate of 4.2% in 2019, which is also pretty amazing. Serbia had one of the most turbulent pasts in the recent European history, which translated in many occasions that ravaged its economy partially or completely. However, the past years have been more hopeful for Serbia, as the country's stability is at its best level since the end of Yugoslavia. The country's capital, Belgrade, is full of building sites, a clear sign that investment money is flowing to the country. Serbia is less dependent on tourism than most countries in Europe, which also made the country be less impacted from the most recent global events, in which the tourism industry was one of the most affected. If you want to move to Serbia, you can open a company in the country even if you are just a self-employed person and the overhead is not too high. Alternatively, you can buy property in the country, which also grants you the right to stay, and it is pretty cheap unless you want to do it in the capital, Belgrade. The next country is in the Baltic region. We're talking about Lithuania, which by the way is not the only Baltic country in today's video. I guess you can probably know which one will be the other. Lithuania grew by 4.3% in 2019, and it is also recovering pretty well in 2021. A combination of affordable operational costs, qualified local talent, and efficient government processes help Lithuania to have an edge over most countries in Europe. Lithuania is doing particularly well with fintechs and IT companies. Some sectors that are highly attractive in Lithuania are peer-to-peer investment companies, money remittance services, digital banking, and other financial services. If you want to move to Lithuania as a business person and you are not an EU citizen, this is quite complicated, as it will involve, in almost all cases, having to hire at least one Lithuanian national or EU national. The next country in the list is Hungary, which capital Budapest is one of the most livable cities in the world. The country posted a growth of 4.6% in the year 2019. Hungary ranks as the 9th most complex economy in the world, which is a great advantage, especially in times of global economic turbulence. Hungary was one of the European countries most hit during the 2008-2009 global crisis, but has since then recovered and thrived. Its central location in Europe helps the country to benefit as an investment and logistics hub in the continent, with some leading companies in the pharmaceuticals and banking industry. If you are a non-EU citizen, you can move to Hungary by opening a company and enjoy a relatively affordable cost of living combined with a world-class infrastructure. The next country in the list is Poland, which posted a growth of 4.7% in 2019, which is absolutely ridiculous considering the size of the country and the fact that it is in Europe. The larger a country is and the more complex its economy is, it is harder to post higher GDP figures by year, as a number of economic sectors with a large significance need to grow simultaneously. Poland is an EU member, but it does not use the euro currency. This results in cheaper production costs, but at the same time with a great capacity and excellent transport infrastructure to deliver Polish products all over Europe and beyond. However, if you want to move to Poland and you are a non-EU citizen, this task is not so simple to do as a business person. Getting a job in Poland is definitely easier than getting one in the Netherlands or in France as a non-EU national. But if you want to start a business in Poland, it is more complicated than in its neighbors Slovakia, for example, or the Czech Republic. The next country in the list is Ireland. Ireland grew at a whopping 4.9% rate in 2019, a trend that has been steadily strong for more than a decade. Currently, Ireland is one of the wealthiest countries in Europe and in the world. Ireland has low corporate income tax rates for Western European members, which made the country highly attractive for international companies to establish their European headquarters in. Among them, we can mention Microsoft, Apple, Dell, and PayPal. The list is actually much longer than that. Ireland also benefited from Brexit, as some European companies based in London opted to move out of the UK and establish themselves elsewhere in the EU. Ireland was then one of the most obvious choices. Ireland also has a residence by investment program for high net worth individuals, so if you want to invest and reside in Ireland, there are options starting at €500,000. The next country is Estonia. Estonia is another European economic miracle. From a restricted Soviet republic to a highly efficient market economy, the country changed its destiny drastically, and it got much better since it got independent about 3 decades ago. The country, and most notably its innovative capital Tallinn, are the preferred location for a number of new tech startups and online businesses in Europe. Relatively low taxes and low levels of compliance make Estonia highly attractive from everyone from freelancers to large companies in the tech sector. The digital aspect of the local economy made the country less impacted by the recent economic crisis affecting the world since 2020. If you want to move to Estonia, you can do that by opening a company or becoming a self-employed person. There is also a digital nomad visa available in Estonia, but it is not renewable. You can only stay in the country 1 year using that option. The next and the last country in today's list is Malta, which is the fastest growing European country according to Eurostat in 2019. In that year, the country grew 5.5%, which for European terms is absolutely incredible. Malta has a number of advantages, starting from its key location on the Mediterranean, a passage to ships going from west to east of the continent. The second important advantage of Malta is that most of its population speaks English. As a matter of fact, English is one of the 2 official languages in the country, being the other language Maltese. This makes it extremely easy to handle paperwork and any kind of contracts in the country. Malta is also one of the top locations for internet businesses in Europe, with low overall taxes, and it is one of the most crypto-friendly countries in Europe. However, 15% of Malta's GDP is in the tourism sector, which has been heavily impacted in the last 12 months. There are many residence program options in Malta for investors and retirees. That's it for today's list. As we can see, most of the fastest growing countries have some common elements that make them succeed, such as low taxes. If you have high taxes in a complex tax system, it is much harder for your country to attract foreign investment. So countries like Spain, France or Italy, nowadays they have a hard time bringing new investment to the country. Another point is efficient government processes and low bureaucracy. In Estonia, even if taxes are not that low, at least the compliance and how the government works is very efficient. So you not have to spend a lot of time going from one government office to the other and other types of activities that will make you lose time and money. Another important point is a favorable geographical location. Countries with a more central location in Europe or are somewhere between Europe and North America tend to perform better since it is easier to access them and other markets nearby in Europe. And the last point I'd like to point out is low production costs. If a country has high production costs, there are less industries that are likely to move there and start a new plant, for example, or if salaries are too high, only very specialized companies that can hire highly paid staff will start operations in that country. That's the case of Ireland, for example, where salaries are high, but since taxes are low, for highly qualified staff, it makes sense for the companies to hire people in Ireland. That's it for today's video. Write down in the comment section to which country would you like to move to look for a job or start a business in. And if you want to travel, move, or invest abroad, hit the like button, check our other videos. There are many videos talking about all of these countries on the channel. Book a consultation call with me, the link is in the description. And most importantly, subscribe! See you next time.